there are my onions. My onions are in front of the big tree planter, and in the big tree planter is my Jamaican sorrel. I hope it pops up. It is definitely getting hot enough for that to happen. I have, as you can see, 2 onions on the outer edges of these corner planters, and I have a microtom there in the middle. I might actually turn these into the tiny Tims next year. We'll see. I'm just thinking about it. Oh, up there. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know how it is. You just start getting ideas. Different ideas of different... you just be wanting to remodel your damn garden every 2 weeks. Like Choy did his thing, didn't it? Well, it rained, so... yeah. But then it got hot, so then they started getting all wilty looking and a lighter green instead of the dark rich green. So I'm just letting these finish. So this one's going to be ready. I'm going to take it to Mr.'s family this weekend, and then next weekend this one will be ready to take to them, and then the following weekend that one will be ready to take to them. In the meantime, I have smaller lettuce coming up to replace those. Collar back there. There's 2 of them doing nicely. I buried this one a little deeper than I intended to, but it'll be fine. Y'all know how Velvet do. Her soft, cushy booty. Hey girl, hey. But you know, this one, you can tell this one is coming up from the seed. And then I have the regular lettuce there. I have green onions, 2 bunching. Not much coming up. Patio tomato. She's not as thick as she normally is, but she ain't hurting for nothing right now. It's been sunny and warm the last 2 days, and she's like, bitch, that's all I needed, honey. And so you can see all the flower blooms popping. Going back to this, I put the 2 tiny Tims in here. I just had 1 really down the middle, but I put 2 in here, and then that way if these accidentally cross-pollinate, it's not going to be a big deal, because at worst the patio tomato would just beef up the actual fruit on the tiny Tims, and the tiny Tims short-natured stature would only help manage the height of the patio. So, and not that it gets too high to manage anyway. So yeah, I have these wasps that really love my trellis setup, and I was asking Mr. what he thought that might be, and he took a guess and said he thinks they eat it. They chew it up and use it to make their nests. They eat the wood to go and make their nests with. Like, that's the material they use. Getting her nest materials, but I end up spraying them with wilt-proof. Oh, the irony, right? For those of you who don't know, wilt-proof is a substance that is supposed to be used like on new starting cuttings to keep them from wilting, keep them strong and upright and feeding until they're able to root and stand on their own. And this stuff worked so well one time that I put a rooting into a pot of soil, and I thought it was taking root, but it wouldn't grow any bigger. It just was green, you know, like when I first put it in there. And so the stuff worked so well that it kept the plant so green even after it wasn't rooted. And I was like, oh my God, this stuff works excellently. Well, within 2 years, in an orange presidency, they changed the formula And the wilt-proof now kills everything that it touches. Like, it doesn't, not only does it not keep it green, it turns it white. Like, not even brown. It turns it white and kills it. It's like I pour bleach on it. Where it used to preserve my plants as its namesake, wilt-proof, it actually murdered my garden and anything that the droplets touched on its way to killing something else. It killed those, it turned those spots white on another plant, on other plants. So I'm saying that to say that what I do now is, particularly since my cucumber hasn't popped up, I actually spray the whole wooden trellis thing. It went from wilt-proof to wilt provocation. That product ain't the only one. Y'all remember that I showed y'all that bottle of neem oil that had .0, they had 0.01% neem extract, which wasn't even neem. That's not even neem. And then 99% other shit. They didn't tell you what the other shit was. It literally, the ingredients was 99% other shit and 0.01% neem oil extract. Fucking extract. If y'all don't know, if you know, you know. Extract in American Science and Medical Studies is code for this ain't that shit at all. But we duplicated it. We were able to dupe it into a concentrated version of, to mimic what we want you to believe it is. Wilt-proof, Roundup, neem, or all the stuffs that have been the most promoted in American gardening, and whatever else freaking industry you can come up with. Because when I tell you, the tyranny is real. Okay, anyway, this is not about that. If you want to hear that rant, I guess, you know. These are the onions. I have 2 regular bunching onions and these 4 with these thick old stalks on them. Big ass red onions. I have my lettuce here. I have a spinach, which is not happy. It's struggling because it's not cold enough for it. You know, spinach is so fucking finicky, and I hate that it's the tastiest of the leafy greens. God. We gonna rant. We gonna vent about, you know, how angry we are about that. Man, you talk about a gardening video all over the place. I guess it's because it's just as much a sesh as it is anything. Violas that popped up. My purple violas, y'all know I only do purple. So they popped up on their own. Y'all, I'm so mad. I lost the seed pod that I had deadheaded a couple of weeks ago. I did a video and I had the one with the seed pod. And I put it somewhere so that I wouldn't forget it. And I forgot it. Ooh, this is gonna be so pretty. I can't wait. They're gonna bloom and be so pretty. Indigo rose, and that's from my cutting because it was so vigorous that I wanted, whatever I grew out here, I knew I wanted to grow it from a cutting because it was vigorous as is on its own. Mother Verbena said that. There is Cher, another setup with the 2 onions on either side and Micro Tom in the middle. We're going to cascade that over the front as a hanging tomato. Remember last year? We're going to do that every year from now on. Unless one year I decide to put Tiny Tims up there instead of the Micro Toms. We'll see. So I'm going to get these first fruits primarily for seeds on this one. And then that's a way to do it. Okay, look. I was gonna go get my stand and everything, but I'm not gonna be long. So I was yesterday years old when I learned that the exact spacing for original variations of fruits when seed collecting. which would explain some of the training that I did to my plants that I may or may not have done personally. But I'm glad I learned this before I did a whole ass video sharing knowledge. But it's no worse than most people. In fact, it's still more accurate than what the information you probably already had. Anyway, so I looked it up because I knew it was important to me to collect seeds from my black tomatoes this year. And they say the proper distance, well, I heard 20 feet and then I heard 10 feet. So I wanted to do my best at 20 feet unless the variations are similar, like say patio versus the tiny Tim, because I like the traits of both of those for the same reasons, because they're stout and still produce nice sized tomatoes. So I don't worry about them being 20 feet apart from each other. But from a cherry variety to a regular size tomato, if I want specifically different seeds, then I need to keep them separately. Same thing with color. If I don't mind about crossbreeding tomatoes that are cherry versus patio, as long as they're red tomatoes, then again, let them do their thing, orgy it on up. However, if I know if I'm specifically being cognizant of wanting to keep a true black cherry tomato, then I need to keep that tomato away from the other plants. But what made me sit down and make this video was, it occurred to me that what I could do is take the fruits from the first one that fruits and use those as seeds and just eat the rest of them as usual. And then I won't have to worry about what cross-pollinates what, because I've already gotten the seeds that I'm gonna get from the OG heirloom version of whichever variation. I know that was wordy as hell, but y'all know what it is. It's a sesh, but it's still dropping some ancestral wisdom on your ass. Only if you're open to it. Look how meaty my shoulders look. Oh, am I fat again? The scale says I'm maintaining okay. Eat more vegetables. How about that? Well, produce then. Produce. So I can have access to your ass. I feel like I'm getting a late start, but everyone is. Everyone is. I'm so excited. So I'll need to be out here and water every single day this week. And I'm okay with that. And something I'm realizing is I'll need to water even then. Another gem drop. If you have a container garden, I don't care how much rain you get, on a day that it doesn't rain, you need to do your best to get out and water that garden. I'm talking about container garden people right now. If you're gonna grow in containers, you're gonna have to pimp out your hose regularly. Unless, of course, you got drip irrigation, in which case you already have that set up. But if you're growing in container garden, that's usually not synonymous with drip irrigation. That's all I'm saying. So get out there and get that bitch some water. Even if she seems full and it seems to be coming out of the bottom, give her some water. For those plants that need it. There's some plants that are drought tolerant. Don't worry about them. But you know what I'm talking about. Quit playing games. I'm talking about your melons, your cucumbers, your tomatoes. You know, there's a lot of y'all doing those in planters these days. It's cool, but you're gonna need to water them. Okra, you might not need to water every day. Okra can handle a drought and heat. You know what I mean? But don't act like y'all know what I'm talking about. Or if you do act like you know what I'm talking about, just quietly do so and let the people that are listen to the ancestors' message and come through me, let them hear it. How about that? All right, love y'all. See y'all in a second. Ooh, it's hot. Did I finish showing y'all everything? Or are y'all over it? I feel like y'all are over it. Plus, nothing's really popping for me other than the violas, which I would like to deadhead right now, because I done found ways to collect and use those beautiful purple sprinkles on everything. I'm finna Frank's hot sauce them hoes.